champion, Washington Nationals. That was a late night last evening. And while our city is celebrating, there are some hard truths to actually recognize and accept. The school that I taught at for several years, Doan High School, around 3 miles from here, would probably be unrecognizable to many people in these neighborhoods. And in the school where I taught, which was a fairly high-performing school, around only 1 in 3 students are going to complete their high school experience with the writing skills to navigate college and career. And that was an eye-opening and heart-pounding experience for me to accept. One of the core elements of that experience in working in Southeast DC was having to look my brilliant students in the eyes and say that if someone who didn't love you and care about you the way I did were to read your writing, they would think you're very unintelligent. And that light bulb moment for me in around 2006 was that I had to actually transition from being a history teacher into a writing instructor. And then I realized that writing was the gateway, the pathway, was the key to the advancement that they were looking for in their lives. But actually what I didn't realize at that time, that it was the key to inside their lives. And what's fascinating is that I realized that our students had a story to tell. They had a process for which to tell it, and we were giving them the wrong tools to use it. We also realized that if we were going to tackle what the teaching and learning experience of writing was, that we actually first and foremost had to focus on engagement. We worked with a high population of reluctant learners, and despite having a couple of master's degrees, I never learned how to teach writing. I need to reinvent myself as an educator, and I realized that many of my colleagues need to do the same thing. So our first process with this classroom project that then grew into the nonprofit One World Education was to step back from the academic context and think about the real world context, and asking our students what are the issues, the social justice problems in their communities, in their city, in their country, in the world that bother them. And even before a pen reaches paper, asking students why these issues are important to them, and what are their ideas to solve these problems, and convincing them that the tools to help solve these problems are through your writing. And the skills that you'll learn through that process are the same skills that you will need to argue your way for a job and to argue your way into higher education. It was also the tool to create activism, citizenship, to really understand, to learn who my students were. What was that heartbeat telling me about their identity beyond being just another student in my 27 students in that classroom? So I worked with a series of a small group of teachers to redefine what our role in this problem was. Because we weren't teaching writing, we were assigning it. And had to realize that what we were overlooking was the actual learning process. So we broke down this learning process into a series of steps where students were identifying what are the issues that's important to them, why it's important, getting out their story, creating a hypothesis as to what their solutions should be, creating a research plan, engaging in the in-depth critical thinking of their research, analyzing their research, the outline, the draft, the revision. And because students were choosing their own topics, which is so central, and I apologize for overlooking it, they weren't regurgitating what I was asking them to pretend was original. They were bringing their knowledge, ideas, passion, and purpose to me. And we were hearing about this in the school from different teachers. And we started creating the curriculum materials and the teacher training model for this program that we call One World. A year later, 6 of those other teachers went to 6 other schools, and we accidentally grew into a citywide program. 2 years later, DC Public Schools adopted our program as their first writing program for high school. In 2015, One World Education, so when I think about what are we most proud of, there's really 2 parts. What are we most proud of? We're proud of students who approach writing as something they feared to a tool that they now see as a key to sharing who they are. And teaching students that you don't write for a grade, you write to be read. It can only be read if it's written well. And that's what we're doing, is helping their teachers get their students to get their ideas written well so their stories, their writing can create change, and creating a peer-to-peer learning community where the reader and writer are the same age. But beyond that, in 2015, we partnered with American University and the World Bank Education Group to conduct a citywide evaluation of our work. After 2 years, we found the report showcased between 2015 and 2017, working with 5,000 students across the district, that we had statistically significant gains in research and writing skills in 90% of our schools. It's the power of starting with the student. I believe our curriculum will work and our program model would work in a lot of different contexts. But it starts with that social emotional learning foundation of giving our kids, our students, and even our adult learners voice and choice. So it's an honor to be here. It's more of an honor to share with you that if you'd like to better understand solutions to social justice problems that we all know too well, go to our website, oneworldeducation.org, where you could read the published writing of middle and high school students who are sharing their skills, they're sharing their purpose. We currently work, as I shared, with 5,000 students, both in school, after school, with summer, and this year we started working with 1,400 adult learners in DC schools to help them improve the writing skills that limit their employment, their salary advancement, their purpose, their sense of future. We believe that writing is fundamental to activism, to community, to confidence, but ultimately to creating the academic experience that both teachers and students crave. Thank you.